passing by. I'm not always polite, but I get the job done. Who says that work can never be fun? I'm simply unprofessional. Simply unprofessional. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Simply Unprofessional. I'm your host, Webby. Joining me tonight, we got Devin.
Hey, what's up?
And joining us tonight, we got Mr. Rob Edquist.
Hey, I'm back again.
All right. This week, we watched the 3-hour-long movie by Stephen King, The Langoliers. Now, Devin.
Yep.
This was a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say I disliked it. It reminded me a lot of some older, cheesy 80s movies. But I feel like, as for a Stephen King movie, even jumping off the coattails of Running Man from last week, I feel like he dropped the ball. It was, like you said, not a typical horror Stephen King horror movie. There was really nothing scary about it.
Nope.
It was more of like a mystery movie.
Or like a thriller mystery, yeah.
I didn't really sense a thriller aspect to it. Like, even like the, what was this, Craig Toomey, played by the guy who plays Balky, Perfect Strangers. We saw his descent into madness.
To give you an idea, it's not listed under horror. Technically, The Langoliers, 1995, is listed under drama. It is a drama movie.
Okay, that I could kind of see. Oh, man. All right. So, let's start off from the beginning. Sorry. Just watched The Langoliers, made me yawn.
Well, first since we did all the bad movie descriptions, I have one for this.
Okay.
Little girl murders man with mental issues.
Yeah, okay, that would work. Yeah. So, Rob, I mean, over the last couple of weeks, Devin has kind of given us the premise of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to describe this movie to somebody who had not seen it yet, how would you do that?
I would basically say there's a bunch of people on a plane that everyone else disappeared. They go to an airport, talk a lot. Some people die, and then they fly back.
Okay. And what if somebody asks you, well, why is it called the Langoliers?
I would say it's because the mentally ill guy, his father told him that those were like little creatures that existed and ate you if you were lazy.
Yeah, which also, the guy's description of them did not fit the CGI, whoever drew in the CGI version of these creatures. I was told that they were little balls of fur with teeth, which they kind of got that down, but then with extraordinarily fast little legs. I saw no legs. These were just hovering, floating balls of fur with massive teeth.
Yep.
And they ate everything. They ate Bangor Man.
Also, they fly. Because some of them were flying like high to eat the roof of the thing. So why didn't they fly after the plane when it ran away?
Yeah, that was going to be my next question for Devin, actually, because he had shared me a picture that showed me these things chasing a plane in the air. I thought that happened. Apparently it did not. But Devin, why didn't these things chase down the plane if they can fly? Devin might be on a call. He's been off and on the phone. So we will ask him that when he gets back.
Okay.
So, like Rob said, essentially this movie, they leave LAX in Los Angeles. They fly through what people are saying was the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis. Well, Devin did not mute when he's on the phone. They fly through it. Some of the people who were asleep on this flight, there were 9 people who were sleeping, wake up and find that people have disappeared right off the plane. Not only did they disappear, they left certain things behind, which you had questions about this, Rob. They left things like jewelry, coins, even internal things like pacemakers and pins, like bone pins.
Mm-hmm.
But no clothes.
Nope. Apparently the clothes went with them.
Yeah.
But the things in the pockets of those clothes and stuff from inside, and other things they were wearing, like watches and jewelry, and even a wig, stayed. Makes no sense.
So they land in they're heading to Boston, but they realize, well, Boston's kind of a crowded airport. They don't know what to expect, so the pilot decides they're going to fly to Bangor. They land the plane, and then they notice that the teacher's shoes are weak. And
which means not strong.
Yes. But essentially just everything in Bangor seemed dull and different. There was no noise to the outside. There was no real smells going on. They walked inside, they opened up a beer. The beer was flat. Soda's flat.
A sandwich, and it tasted like paper.
Yeah. So just everything seemed off. And then one of the airplane, I guess, guests or passengers decided he was going to pull an experiment. He brought items back onto the airplane, and they continued to stay flat. But after a short period of time, they became fizzy again. He was able to light matches again. They were able to taste things again. So they realized that they had gone back, I guess, roughly 15 minutes into the past. And now this is where I kind of got sidetracked. This guy's...
On just this?
Well, not on just this. This whole movie had me kind of sidetracked. But did you understand at all what this guy was talking about? Like, his theory on time travel and why it works the way it did in this movie?
Yeah. It actually reminds me of an old Twilight Zone episode where he gets stuck in like the past for a few seconds. Like it's a few seconds earlier, but he's stuck there and he can't get out. And there's like these creatures that come and like disassemble everything.
Basically, it's like the Langoliers are the janitors of the timeline. They just come in, and anything in the past they eat, and just keep it that way. That's the kind of the concept of the Langoliers.
So that way, no one can travel back to that far in time.
Theoretically, yes.
But now, my question: if you travel back even like say 15 minutes into the past, there should still have been people there, right? Because there are people still 15 minutes
I think
in the past.
The premise is that there is no, like, as we can only exist in the present. We don't exist.
Yeah, we only can. Yeah, that's why he was saying like you can't go back 10,000 years and see like the destruction of the dinosaurs, or you can't because nothing living. As like basically as time goes on, the best way to describe time would be like if traditional time theory. Oh, I go back in time, I can see this person. They're using like what would be like a shadow. Like for instance, like if you go back in time, there's still a shadow of you back, and then it kind of follows its path. This is more so like you can't be two places at once. So in a constant timeline, you move with time, and then only like non-physical things stay behind, or non-living things stay behind. So, or like a snapshot of non-living things stay behind, and then it's consumed by the Langoliers. So, like you as a living being, our lives, we only can exist at one point on the timeline. So even if you go back in time, you've moved on and you're in the present, and then the past is just a snapshot of the non-living things back there that the Langoliers haven't had a chance to eat yet.
Okay.
Think of think of the computer as think of the timeline as a computer with low on RAM, and it doesn't have enough RAM to store everybody. So it just kind of it just dumps
they're
off.
slowly deleting everything as they
Exactly.
go.
Exactly.
Old files are getting deleted.
The Langoliers are just Control Alt Delete, and they're just a task manager going through and closing on all the old processes.
They're the defrag.
Yep, exactly.
The
They're just
defrag
defragging
system
all
that
the-
takes forever.
Like the only thing that I don't like is that it overall it makes no sense because the Langoliers have to eat everything for every second of the past that exists. Like they have to go through every second and re-eat the whole world all over again.
Yes.
And like also the whole universe because the universe is also linear. Like they'd have to eat the sun and all the planets.
The Langoliers are. Well, no, it's living thing. Like I guess things would be like concrete living or unliving things. So I mean, I guess you could say the sun is alive. You could say the Earth is alive, so that continues with it. But they kind of erasing all of the non-living things. They're cleaning up. Basically, they're cleaning up all the non-living atmosphere out there, just turning it back into like empty space. So I mean, you could say you're eating everything as well, but even then, we don't know how many Langoliers there are. There could be millions of them, and we just happen to run into 2. And CGI TV budget only allowed us to have 2.
Well, there was a shit ton of them at the airport.
Right.
Yeah.
At the end, you saw more of them. So, I mean, you could assume that for sure there is, maybe there's millions or billions of Langoliers running around eating the world.
Now, question. I think you were just on a phone call when I went to go ask this, which is why we decided we'd come back to it. Those things were flying around because they were definitely floating at the top of the airport, eating the airport.
Mm-hmm.
How come they didn't chase the plane?
They didn't chase the plane.
I have a theory on this, but
I mean, it wasn't really, I guess, given, but the best way to say it is they didn't really chase the plane just because it was what you call it? They didn't chase the plane because Mr. Truman was distracting them to giving them enough time to get out. He was being kind of the loudest wheel in the room, and then at the end there, they were currently leaving, so and they kind of eat what they eat at that point in time and kind of move on slowly, so they weren't chasing them down. But Mr. Toomey was being loud and annoying, so they ate him. I mean, that's really it. There's not really, I wouldn't really, I can't give you a concrete answer, obviously.
Rob, why don't you think they chased the plane? Or do you like Devin's answer?
The only reason I think is because then the plane was like, because they're eating things in the order of like, like the hourly.
Yeah, and the time was like that future.
They came from like the east. They're eating the East Coast, or like further that way. It's still less time has gone by.
Yeah, I mean the time is like.
Oh, so they weren't hungry for West Coast plain burger yet?
Yeah,
exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean my theory was kind of on the same lines because they realized that part of the present was still with them on the plane. Which is why, they could light matches on the plane, they could drink, the fizzy soda on the plane and stuff. So I have a feeling like the Langoliers weren't necessarily chasing the plane to eat it while it was on the runway, but more so chasing it off so it would leave while they continued consuming Bangor. So
chili.
But how come the Langoliers didn't have little feet? Mr. Toomey described them with little feet.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the best way to describe it and read it is his dad didn't really have a good idea of what they look like. He was just kind of trying to scare Mr. Toomey, and Mr. Toomey just, as a kid, and Mr. Toomey just gave the name. Nobody really know they're called the Langoliers. Mr. Toomey just kind of gave them that name. So,
well, I think Mr. Toomey's dad called them that.
He did. I'm saying, but he just attributed that name to those creatures. They're not necessarily called the Langoliers. That's just the name people are using in the show because that's what Mr. Toomey yelled out originally.
Right.
Yeah, He's saying that his dad didn't know about the actual things that they called the Langoliers. That he was describing something else he made up. And
Yeah.
then they just gave those.
And that would explain why they look differently than what he was described to begin with.
Gotcha. All right, so essentially that all happened. They made it to Bangor. They got chased out of Bangor. Mr. Toomey got eaten. Bangor got eaten. Then they all start flying back towards the rift. They went back the exact same way they came in. Then at the very last second, they had to detour to not fly into the rift because they realized, well, fuck, if we're all awake, then we're all going to disappear like the other people did if we go through that. So we need to all go to sleep. They came up with the plan of lowering the pressure in the cabin to make everybody fall asleep, but one person had to stay behind to normalize the pressure again. And that was the British dude. And they normalized the pressure. They flew through. His watch fell to the ground because he just disappeared. Poof. They land the plane. No one's around. They're curious, so they go inside. And then the mystery novel writer, who's the dude from Quantum Leap, not Scott Bakula, but the other guy.
Scott Bakula.
Yeah.
Al.
Yeah, the guy who played Al. Pieces together that everything's still fizzy, everything still tastes good. You can still smell, everything sounds right. So instead of going, 15 minutes in the past, he figures they're 15 minutes in the future, and that the present needs to catch up to him. So he also comes up with the idea, and I give him credit. I give the movie a little bit of credit here. You don't want to just be standing anywhere. So he kind of picks a place on a wall in the airport that is out of the way of the flow of traffic, and I guess he just hoped that no punk teenager was just leaning up against the wall waiting for a plane. They all stand up against the wall, and all of a sudden, the weirdest acid trip happens. The screen flashes a bunch of different colors. You start hearing voices, and then they appear to other people, and everybody else around them appears to them, and they're back in the present. So it's not possible to travel back in time, but with time travel, it's possible to travel into the future.
Yeah, but I mean, still nobody's there because all the people exist in the present.
Right, but all the food and everything still tastes good.
Right, because it hasn't necessarily gone past its. It didn't taste bad. It was just bland.
Right.
It hadn't gone past all. Past that point.
So now, based off of the Langoliers time travel rules, if these were the set rules of time travel for the universe, if I ever learned how to time travel, I would just use time travel when I'm hungry and essentially travel to the future where no one's around and just eat and drink a bunch of shit. And then would you have to wait for the present to catch up?
I guess. If you didn't want to risk going backwards in time and overshooting into the Langoliers' mouths.
So only travel in increments of, say, 20 minutes into the future at any given spot.
Catch up to you.
Yep. So, man, that should have been a life advice with Devin right there. Life advice with Devin, folks. Only travel to a maximum of 20 minutes into the future.
So there were a couple other things that we kind of skipped over. One, the little girl who is blind, and you know she's blind because they make her wear sunglasses everywhere, even when she's sleeping.
Yep.
She's wearing sunglasses. She's kind of psychic, and she uses Mr. Toomey as bait to get the Langoliers away from the rest of them.
Now, in her defense, that motherfucker stabbed her in the chest.
He did. He had stabbed her in the chest at this point, yes.
So, yeah. Spoiler alert, she does die from the stab wound.
Yeah, but everyone's okay with it.
Now, Devin, here's a question. Me and Rob we briefly talked about this. I wanted to get your input.
He's muted. I don't know if he had another call.
Oh, well, we can come back to him when he gets back. Just remind me, the little guy had a question about the little girl.
Okay. So yeah.
Who are
yeah,
some of the other
yeah.
passengers on this plane, Edquist?
Guy that wanted to eat everything, who I identified with, but had no reason to be in that movie. Like,
Yeah.
there was no reason for him to be in that movie at all.
No, well, technically there was.
Oh,
He served a very, very, very important part of this movie.
finding out that the food was bland.
No, well, that too. At the end, when Al knew that something was off, he just couldn't figure it out. He looked at the guy sleeping and realized, fuck, we all have to be asleep.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
If he
but
didn't-
any of the other characters could have been sleeping. He was not necessary.
but this guy was the sloth of the group. He was the one who's constantly sleeping, taking a nap, and then eating.
I guess. They could have saved some money and just erased his character. I'm just saying.
Fair. But you couldn't have made the violinist do his job, because then it would seriously cut into the macking out time on the other girl.
Yeah. It could have been the school teacher then.
Nope, because she was macking it with the British dude.
No, the British dude was up front talking to the pilot, like, the whole movie.
Hey, Rob, chill out, all right?
Okay, so Devin, I have two questions for you now that you're back. One, Rob had posed this idea, and we briefly talked about it before when you were gone the first time. The little girl, when they went back through the rift, like into LA, do you think she's still on the plane, or do you think her body disappeared? Because technically she's dead, but death is the eternal sleep.
I mean, I probably would think she's there. I would.
Well, then whoever the fuck gets on that plane to find out that plane just popped into existence has one hell of a surprise when they walk on and she's just a dead kid on board.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, nobody didn't see this plane just appear out of nowhere on the runway. And when they go inside, there's a dead little girl.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna need you guys to. Don't worry about all that.
Devin,
Also, there were definitely cars driving around when they flew over LA. I'm sorry.
Yes.
No,
Better footage movie. Better.
You're not wrong on that.
Devin, if you can pull up a couple stats on this movie as well, while I ask you this next question.
Sure, what's up?
The guy who was generally always sleeping and or trying to eat stuff, do you think he played an important role in this movie?
I heard Rob's. Yeah, I mean, he was fine. I mean, he was kind of a random guy. He was kind of like partially like I think the comic relief of the movie. He was just like always popping in, like, yo, hey, let's get some food. Like, I mean, he's fine. I don't think he was necessarily 100% needed, but I mean, he's all right.
Do you think they could have, if they were to like get rid of his character and give his role and lines to somebody else as well as addition? Who do you think that would be the best choice on that one?
Like a new actor or just one of the people?
No, just one of the rest of the... Because Rob's like, yeah, well, they could have just like saved money and cut that actor all together and just had one of the other people serve that same purpose.
I mean, they could have given him the black guy.
No, the black guy was dead.
No, I mean, it could have... I mean, really... I mean, in terms of like just his lines in general, I mean, yeah, but I mean, other than that, no. I mean, it's... They could have just made somebody else realize that they had to be asleep, but that's about it. I mean, but... I don't think it would have been a thing, personally.
No, I'm standing with the firm belief that he played, besides the pilot, probably the most important role in the movie.
What about the writer that figured everything out?
What about the what?
What about the writer who figured everything out?
Yeah, all right. Right behind him, then.
I disagree.
The sleeping guy served way more of a purpose than the school teacher.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except that the sleeping guy would not have comforted the little girl or talked to her the whole time.
How do you know? They didn't give him the chance. He was always sleeping.
Because he would be too busy trying to find food or soda.
That could have been their bonding moment.
I'm going off that guy was me, and I would not have stayed to comfort the little girl. But like, bye.
You could tell that this was an 80s movie because, with the exception of Balky, who died as bait, essentially, and was used.
You really are just defending Balky.
I am. The first person to die in this movie was a black man. And that was the 80s. That was the 80s stereotype.
The movie came out in 95.
Really? has such an 80s feel. Now I feel even worse about this movie, knowing that it came out in the mid-90s.
Yep.
Yes.
It's a
It
TV
had-
movie, so
It
it is
had
that.
the it had the token black character who died, just like every 90s and 80s movies that I've seen.
All right. Do you happen to know how much, like, what was the budget for this movie? Is that written down anywhere, Devin?
The budget for I mean, it's a TV movie. I don't think it's a really budget. It was made for, I think, sci-fi or something. Let's see. Hold on.
And since it's a movie that was a TV movie, we're not going to be able to find out if it made money or whatnot because it was made for TV.
Well, according to this guy on Ars Technica, he estimates it to be $12.94 and a half eating chicken salad sandwich.
Wait, $12.94 and a half eaten chicken.
Chicken salad sandwich.
All right.
That's what he That's what he says, given the CGI.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
let's see.
Now knowing that it was a mid-90s movie and seeing that CGI, I think they could have done a little bit better too. But you are right. It is just a made for TV movie.
Yeah, I mean,
so...
it was made. It was legitimately made. If I'm not mistaken, it was made. It was made off of a Stephen King short story and a novella. It was one of 4 stories in the novella, and I believe it was made for either Sci-Fi or like AMC.
Was AMC even around back then?
Sorry, I mean, was it AMC or was it ABC? I'll double check here for a second.
We find out. It was a made-for-TV movie on Lifetime.
ABC.
This was an ABC made-for-TV movie?
Yep.
Shit.
It was a 2-night miniseries debut for ABC in 1995.
This movie spanned over 2 nights. Where was the cutoff point?
Exactly 90 minutes in.
What was happening 90 minutes into this goddamn movie? Like, where's the to be continued portion of this?
Well, I think they cut that out for the DVD release.
I just saw.
I can log into Vudu and tell you exactly where the.
The Stand was a made-for-TV movie too, and it's actually really good compared to this.
Well,
that is like 6 hours long though.
Well, Rose Red is a made-for-TV movie, much better than this. It was a made-for-TV movie.
Listen, I'm hoping. Listen, okay. I'm calling us even, Devin. Okay. Now, I made you watch. I made you and the listeners watch Life After Beth. That was my pick. Now hold on. My redemption movie was Little Hours, which you still didn't care for, but it was marginally better than Life After Beth, and I enjoyed it. You made me watch this movie. You hyped up this movie going into this.
I arguably say I would hype up this movie. I said this movie. I think I said numerous times it's a movie you don't need to see, but I kind of enjoy it, so I said that's fine.
Right. So I feel this way.
I
feel about this movie the way that you probably felt about Little Hours. So now I consider us even. Me and you are square for the Life After Beth debacle.
No.
Yes.
Because this is the thing.
You're saying I still owe you now?
No, I said this is what I'm saying. I didn't make you watch a movie you wanted to gouge your eyes out and Life After Beth in your redemption movie. You're recreating my bad pick to your redemption movie. There's still a bad movie in the air.
No. Oh man, you're right. Listen, okay. Here's my defense.
So if you're making this my bad movie, if you're making your defense that this is 2 movies in 1, I swear to God, I'm gonna slap you.
That's what I was gonna say. My defense is this is a 3-hour fucking long movie.
I mean, so you get, I don't know, Rob. What do you think?
So I need to find a short story, like a short film that will cut it for you.
I mean, I thought this movie was okay. It was a little boring. It is not as bad as Life After Beth.
It's classified as a drama. This movie it's fine for what it is. I think I said numerous times, and it's like I enjoy this movie. I think it's
what?
Campy,
Fine,
it's funny.
Fine. I'm gonna regret this decision, but I'm gonna leave it up to the listeners. Listeners, write me on Facebook. And I know this is mainly going to be
you can
Kurt
find
Ross.
this movie to watch somewhere.
Yeah, find the Langoliers watch it. But or even if you've seen it before, or if
You know
you want to
what?
watch a
Let's do
YouTube
this.
synopsis
You know what?
of it.
Let's do this. Let's do
No,
this.
hold on. Listeners,
Have your mom watch it.
write me in and tell me, do I still owe Devin?
I'm not saying you owe me. You're making up an imaginary.
I'm wiping
count
my
system.
own. No, I'm trying to wipe my own slate clean, my
But
conscience
you, Webby,
slate.
You don't
Okay.
owe me anything. Like I don't
No,
blame.
I
I'm
feel
not
like I
blaming
do.
you. See, you're making up an imaginary system in which you owe me something.
Yeah, it's my
not true.
conscience slate. I'm trying to wipe it clean, and I can't get it clean. It's still covered in black. It's still covered in red blood. It's covered in muck and grime and filth, and I'm trying to wipe it clean, and I can't.
Webby, will you feel better if I told you that you don't owe me anything, and I feel fine?
No,
Because I'm telling you that's
because
fine.
that doesn't change how I.
No,
initially
seriously.
felt.
If you want to count this movie, I'm totally fine with that.
I'm gonna go based off the listeners, but in the meantime, you are about to make me watch a 6-hour-long fucking made-for-TV movie.
It's
next.
4 hours, not 6 hours.
Whatever.
4 hours.
Whatever the fuck. It's a 4-hour-long made-for-TV movie, and if I'm not thoroughly enjoyed by that movie, then I don't give a fuck. I'm calling our slate clean. We're even.
You can call it clean right now.
No,
if you want,
I'm
Webby.
not
It's fine
doing
with
it.
me. Okay.
I'm not doing it.
Rob, I gave him out, but at least Rob stands behind me in this. Rob, you said you've seen what you call it? You've seen Rose Red, right?
I have, yes.
Yeah, enjoyable, right?
I liked it, yes.
Thank you. It has Marnie from Halloween Town. What's not to enjoy?
I don't know what Halloween Town is.
Well, that's a whole nother set of problems, but we can address that another day.
I was just expecting, like, there was that pause, and I was just waiting to hear Devin be like, well, we're going to have a talk after this episode. I need you to get your life.
I'm not saying all that. I'm not. Look. I enjoy Halloween Town. It was a fun movie when I was a kid. I'm not standing here to stay on this high horse for Halloween Town and do something about it. Like I'm not. I am not dying on the Halloween Town hill.
Is that the one with the 3 witches who have to try to kidnap the boy?
I think you're thinking of the
Hocus
one
Pocus?
with that Midler.
Okay, so it's not that one. Is it the one where they use milk?
Like,
Hold on. Is it the one where they use milk to kill all of the goblins that are coming up out of the ground and shit?
That's Ernest Saves Halloween or whatever.
All right. Well, those are the 2 Halloween movies I think I know.
Hocus Pocus is the one I couldn't think of for a second.
It was Hocus Pocus. I was like, Hocus Pocus.
Okay. Well, those are the 2 Halloween movies I know, so I guess yes. Okay.
One of the greatest movies of all time is Little Monsters Fight Me. Get at me.
No, I perfectly agree. 100% agree. Guy fucking pisses in the dude's apple juice. Hell yeah. Good practical joke.
Yep.
Man. What was that?
I love
was
the
that Fred
synopsis
Savage
for
or
the
something?
2019. That is Fred Savage.
Yeah.
I love the synopsis for 2019 Little Monsters. I typed up Little Monsters to see what was up, and I love the synopsis for 2019 Little Monsters. It has
They
nothing to do with
remade
the
it?
original. No, they didn't. But I like this movie synopsis a lot. A washed-up musician teams up with a teacher and a kids show personality to protect young children from a sudden outbreak of zombies.
Well. Okay. All right.
It is Lupita. All right.
I don't know who that is.
That's the chick from it's the black chick from fucking not it fucking Us. The mom.
I don't know what Us is.
What else is she from? Lupita. Is she in Black Panther too? I think she's. I'm almost certain she's in Black Panther. What's her name? How do you spell her name? Damn you, Lupita. How do I spell your name? She's the mom from Us. She's in Star Wars. She's in Black. Yeah, she's in Black Panther. She's his love interest in Black Panther.
Okay.
Yeah, her.
Back to the wiping my slate clean thing real quick. You also made me watch The Running Man, which was not a fantastic movie. But Agnes, yeah, you are 100% right.
Don't even.
It had a redeeming quality in the fact that it had Agnes in it.
Damn straight it did.
So
Agnes is your girl.
But just like our problem with Life After Beth, you can't just shove a bunch of good actors into a really shitty movie and call it good.
Right. I mean, to be fair, Running Man is about on par with most Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Most.
I mean, I'll say out of all the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies I've seen that I can think of off the top of my head right now, it's probably the bottom of my list of ones that I'd like.
I mean, yeah, it's not my favorite.
I mean, you're right. They're kind of on the same scale of most Arnold movies, but
like if you sat down and said, "Hey, I'm going to show you an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie," and somebody knew kind of the movies Arnold Schwarzenegger made, they could probably be able to call out like 5 or 6 things that's going to happen in that movie, without ever seeing that movie because it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's totally fine.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. All right, so overall thoughts on the Langoliers Edquist. And would you recommend it to other people? And after that, I have another question.
It was okay. It was a little bit boring. It was a very typical Stephen King book adaptation. And I would not recommend seeing it unless you really like Stephen King.
Okay. Devin, same questions.
That's pretty much my same answer. I think it's before. It's a movie you don't need to see. It's not something like you got to rush out. Like I need to see this right now. But it's one of those movies. I kind of enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoy Stephen King movies in general. I kind of enjoyed it. It was pretty cool.
I will say
it's not something like I don't make it a habit to watch it every year. It's not something one of those things. Like every now and again, I'll be sitting down like every few years and be like, I kind of want to see the Langoliers. So
I will say I would have been.
Red, I try to watch every year or so. That's a good for me.
I would have been far more impressed / entertained / happy if the Langoliers in this movie looked more like the Critters from the Critters movies.
Mm-hmm.
That I think I would have been okay with. Not these weird CGI triangle mouth things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I kind of agree with both.
The creepy Rice Krispies.
Yeah. Okay, so at one point this girl, she hears a sound that no one else can hear yet. And they're like, what's it sound like? And she's like, kind of like Rice Krispies when you pour milk on top of them. Then later on, we get to hear the sound. Sounds nothing like that. At all. Like this bitch, she knows nothing about cereal and or Rice Krispies and or what they sound like, and she's blind. She's reliant on her hearing. She has like super hearing, like Daredevil quality hearing, because she can hear heartbeats, and she doesn't know what Rice Krispies sound like. My God, I'm telling you, she was the evil one in the movie.
She was the head Langolier, remember?
Yeah, hands down. And she's a murderer. I'm sorry.
Webby, let me ask you this question. Well, she died. She paid for her sins.
Fair. Okay. You sold me. I'm easily bought. What can I say?
Webby just likes beating up on disabled people.
I mean, you're not wrong. Bring it. Come at me.
He's like Brock Lesnar when he just rolled that disabled kid down the stairs.
Yeah.
Or threw that disabled kid down the stairs. Fun times, people. Fun times. But no, let me ask you this question. I got a question for both of you.
Okay.
Would you like to see a remake of this movie nowadays with better special effects? It was cut down like an hour and a half, like hour and a half, 2 hour movie.
That was going to be part of my next question.
Would you like to see that? I think I would like to see it because I think there is a good it's a good concept. There's a good movie, a really good movie in there somewhere.
I would definitely give it a chance.
Well, here's my question for you guys, because this was put into the SU chat by I believe Jules Hernandez. Would we want a remake of this movie? And if so, who would we cast in the roles for this movie? This is the same. We're doing these for all of the Stephen King movies that we have this month, just like what we did for Blade Runner, or The Running Man, not Blade Runner. The Running Man. So, to answer the first part, and to answer you, Devin, yeah, I mean, if it was cut down and trimmed and cleaned up a bit with special effects from like nowadays, I could see potential in it. Because, like you said, there is a good story there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just I think that this made-for-TV ABC movie kind of missed it. They were given a turd, and they didn't do very well polishing it up.
Mm-hmm.
So, but who would we go through and cast? Let's start with the pilot. Who would you recast now as the pilot for that movie?
I think he'd be too quirky to pull it off. I'm laughing because he is a pilot. Man, no, I can't do that. That'd be funny, but I can't do that. I don't think he'd be right for the role just because it'd be too funny. he I don't know if he'd be serious enough for it. Let me think. Who would be the pilot? The pilot. De Pilate. Like he gave me Dr. Phil vibes looking at him in the movie, but obviously no.
Well, that guy's in a lot of like military movies.
Yeah.
Yes,
I was thinking Kiefer Sutherland just because he reminded me of him.
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland would be nice. I do like Kiefer Sutherland. I don't know how many high budget actors we can afford if we got Kiefer Sutherland in there. Oh, Kiefer Sutherland would be a nice pick. I do like Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, all right. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go Kiefer then. What about for the British guy?
I was laughing like in my head. He popped up because he reminds me of the dad from The Nanny, and I was like, "We can get the dad from The Nanny." But the problem is they're like the same age. Like the dad from The Nanny is 1 year younger, so I mean nowadays, so I mean, it wouldn't really work. But he really reminds me of.
Oh yeah,
Mr.
okay.
Sheffield.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I meant like in real life. What's his name? His name is something. But yeah, no, he reminds me of that guy. But let's see. Let's look this up and see. Jude Law. Let's go Jude Law. I would go with Jude Law. He hasn't done
Okay.
anything in a long time.
All right. I could see that.
I'd say Jude Law, or have you ever seen Homeland?
I think so.
The main guy from Homeland.
Okay. What about you, Edquist? What do you think? Or do you like Jude Law?
Jude Law's fine.
All right. Who would we cast as the little girl?
I know. I know. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
I'm gonna go nail on the head on this one and just stick with the stereotype. I'm gonna say the girl who plays Eleven in Stranger Things. It's kind of the same fucking role.
Yeah,
So,
that would definitely work.
and I think she'd pull it off. Who would you go with the school teacher?
Oh.
I don't know how old Jude Law is. I guess that doesn't overly matter. You know what? I'm gonna go Jennifer Lawrence. That's the chick from the Hunger Games, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with her.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you opposed to that idea? Do you have someone better in mind?
Not really. I was thinking Elizabeth Olsen, but
Okay, all right. With blonde hair, I don't know. I can't not think of her without red hair. Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen.
We're casting the school teacher, the blonde school teacher.
Oh, the two. Who'd you guys pick for the kid?
The girl who plays 11 from Stranger Things.
I'm down with that totally.
And then he chose
teacher.
Elizabeth Olsen for the school teacher. I chose Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence. You know what? Hold on. If we're casting the other guys that age-wise, if we're casting...
Age doesn't really matter.
No. Hold on. How old is she? I think she is exactly 40. I'm going to go with Jennifer Love Hewitt. Why not?
Okay.
Teacher.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll take it. All right.
That could be the... Okay.
The who?
I was gonna say that could be like the teenage chick, but obviously no. I mean, Eliza Dushku from Buffy days, sure.
Oh.
No, that would really work.
Yeah, let's go with the punk teenage girl.
Punk teenage girl.
I already thought of that one. I would pick Brianna Hildebrand.
Who's that?
She's the one who played Negasonic Teenage Warhead in the Deadpool movie.
Oh, yep, sold.
Yep, sold.
I like it.
And
what about violinist boyfriend?
We flip the script, and it's girlfriend, and we just cast Kimiko.
You know what? Fuck it. I like it. In fact, we give them the script from X-Men, but we say, but you're stuck on this goddamn planet, you're not exactly sure why.
And the Langoliers is just the Langoliers. Mr. Toomey, we're going to cast as fucking, what's his name? As Ryan Reynolds. So he's going to run around every time he sees him. Oh, hi, guys. And just keep running. Change this whole movie. It's gonna be great.
Okay, now, Mr. Toomey, who would you really cast for his role? Because he plays an asshole, and then he kind of goes into insanity, and then he dies. I don't know how old he is now, but what about the guy who played fucking in that rat movie?
Willard?
Yeah. Is he really old now?
I mean, people instinctively hate him already, and he kind of looks kind of douchey nowadays. We could go with what's his name? Hayden Christensen.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I think he can pull off the psychotic look too. Pale, dark around the eyes.
This look.
Where are you putting it? Oh, yep, that look.
I mean, and this is pretty much him now. So combine the two, and you got your Mr. Toomey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who would you? What about the mystery writer guy? He's on the older side. I already know who I would pick. Edquist, you got anybody?
I did. I mean, he's not older, but I was thinking the guy that plays August from Once Upon a Time, because the way he's like,
okay,
the way he talks, it's like, you know, how he tells stories.
Yeah,
I'd say the guy that played House.
Oh, Hugh Laurie.
Hugh Laurie. I'm sold on that.
Oh man, that makes me want to change my vote. So I'm voting for Hugh Laurie. Anytime you can get Hugh Laurie in a movie, I'm good. I originally was going to go with Johnny Depp and have him kind of dress similar to the one where he's a writer in the cabin.
Can we just have him playing Captain Jack Sparrow, and he's just like, oh, I'm writing a pirate book. He's like,
he's a method writer instead of an actor. Yeah, he's a method writer. He has to get in character. What about the black guy?
Hold on. I know who. I mean,
I'm gonna pitch this right now. It's not gonna be It's not very great pitch. LL Cool J.
I mean, I don't hate it.
I mean, he was a cook in that other movie with the shark.
Anaconda.
What about
No, the
Ice
one with the
T?
shark. Oh, Ice-T would work too.
Yeah.
Oh man, now you maybe want to go watch fucking man, that's another movie we gotta watch. That's really great and awesome and terrible at the same time.
What?
I gotta look it up in a second. It's a movie I watched way too much as a kid. But no, I got the perfect guy for this in a weird way. Let's grab he's kind of really big. He's like a big guy now, like name wise, to be like in basically a bit part in a low budget movie. But
Samuel L. Jackson.
That wasn't who I was going with in the slightest.
No, because then when he walks in and we have Hayden Christensen stab him in the back, he can just be like,
I'm stabbed, motherfucker.
He can just be like, motherfucker, and just fall to his knees and die. It's like literally his only really line in the movie. Plus, he can be on the plane. He can be like, could be worse up here. Could be snakes.
See, I would go with like Winston Duke. I think he would fit a little bit. He's a little younger.
I don't know who
for
that
the role.
is.
What's his name? He was the rival tribal guy
In Black Panther.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't hate the idea. He's a little younger for the role, but we could also.
I just feel like a guy that imposing could easily fight off Hayden Christensen.
I kind of could see it being Jordan Peele because I just want to put Jordan Peele in everything.
All right, yeah, fuck it. And then last, but arguably one of the most important roles, the sleeping guy. I vote. Let's get Jack Black.
I'm down. Sold. Jablinski, I'm in.
Okay.
What do you think, Rob? Who are you thinking of? You got anybody?
I did. I can't remember who I was thinking of, though, because then I started looking at other people.
And then I have a cameo role for us.
Oh, Kevin James was who I was thinking of. He's a little young because that guy was older.
Okay, the guy from
He's from a lot of things.
Yeah, like grown-ups with Adam Sandler. Yeah. What do you guys think of this? Just because we need star power, obviously, with this cast. Cameo role, the dad at the end, whose kids are like pulling on his arms, saying, "Look at the new people! Look at the new people!" And the dad's just like, "Yeah, okay, whatever," and then just like turns around and like walks his kids away. Let's cast the dad as The Rock.
Sure,
just
why not?
A quick 1 minute cameo by The Rock.
What about the guy at the beginning that tells the pilot his wife is dead?
Oh man, that's an important role too. Okay.
Stone Cold.
Yo, your wife's dead. I'm real sorry. Here, have a beer.
We should have that be Morgan Freeman. I'm sorry. Your wife is dead.
Your wife is dead. I mean, yeah, I feel like any type of bad news should always be given by Morgan Freeman. Like, he should just offer that as a service.
I'm sorry.
Like, hey, for the low price of $399.99, I'll make a 5-minute phone call, or up to a 5-minute phone call to a loved one to deliver bad news for you. So, all right, well, we're rounding about that hour mark. Rob, do you have any last minute or Rob and Devin, do you want to tell me a little bit about what Rose Red is about? Because again, I'm going into this blind. I know nothing about this movie. What can I expect?
Have you seen The Haunting?
Nope.
Probably not, because you don't like horror movies, so that makes sense.
It's a bunch of people that have sleeping issues.
Okay, I can relate.
To this creepy mansion. I don't remember why. It's been a while since I've seen it.
So they have sleeping issues, but they have sleeping issues because I'm not mistaken, they're all psychics. I believe everyone in the house is a psychic. And he's like this doctor is I think a parapsychologist. The mansion's been haunted for years. It's in Seattle, I believe. The mansion's haunted for years. He brings them in to try to like have them vibe the house, so to speak. He brings them in to have them kind of vibe the house, and also because you're thinking of the other movie.
I'm thinking about House on Haunted Hill. Yeah,
House on Haunted Hill, which is originally made. Stephen King was going to direct that originally, but he had that movie ties it in a weird way. He was going to direct that originally, but during that happening, they had like a script discrepancy. So he left and then said, "I'm just going to make this instead." That's why they're so similar.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I remember now. And then one of them is secretly a reporter, right? Who's trying to debunk the guy.
Yes.
That's the one that dies first, right?
If I remember correctly, yes.
Yeah, because they stuck into the house early and ended up getting killed or something.
Yeah, and Webby doesn't edit this, so he's not going to hear us spoil that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what happens. Like, I mean, that happens. You know, you have your gifted team of psychics. They come in, to like vibe the house and try to get it, try to like I guess solve it or just do other dumb shit with it. Because you know that's what dumb people want to do. Dumb people want to. You know, people in movies always want to go in a haunted house for funsies.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's kind of that.
Well, I don't like haunted houses.
I will read you the very basic plot. Is literally 6 sentences here. Okay. Dr. Joyce Reardon, Joyce Reardon, an unorthodox university psychology professor, leads a team of psychics to a massive and antiquated Seattle mansion known as Rose Red in an attempt to record data which would constitute scientific proof of paranormal phenomena. The mansion is publicly thought to be haunted, and at least 23 people have either disappeared or died there, and the interior of the house appears to change or increase in size, yet only from the inside. Reardon's teams awaken the evil spirits possessing the house, leading to several deaths and the revelation of the mansion's deadly secrets. And this does have a budget of $35 million.
Well,
so there you go. I have a budget for this movie. It came out in 2002.
I can tell you I don't like haunted houses or things that could potentially be real.
Well, Webby, don't worry about this because it's a haunted mansion, and neither of us are ever going to be rich enough to live in a mansion, so it's all good.
But what if somewhere down the line, Devin,
we hit that $1 million?
No, not even that.
And move into a mansion.
We're still poor as fuck, boys. What if somewhere down the line, people are like, "Yo, I got an SU idea for you. You and Devin meet up and spend one night in a fucking mansion together. It's supposedly haunted and abandoned."
I would be so down for this.
I know you would be, and I wouldn't be. That's the problem.
Sponsor this.
They used to have Rob along. Well, yeah, they used to have that game show that did that.
I would do this all day.
No, see, I wouldn't.
There is some rich benefactor.
My problem being
SU. First off, I want to go on record and say we have no problem whoring ourselves out. If you want a topic, send us money. If you want a topic, send us money.
I have a problem whoring myself out when it's horror related.
No. I'm talking about just generally speaking. I have zero problems whoring. We have zero problems whoring ourselves out. So there's a rich benefactor listening to SU who's like, I wish they would do a topic on Brazil, and like I'll send you guys to Brazil for a week. Do a topic on it. All right, not a problem. Just feel free to get in contact. You can send us anywhere you want.
True statement.
Like go to Brazil. Like it's like I want you guys to do an SU on prostitution in Thailand. All right, that's fine. So I'm going to send both these guys to Thailand with like $8,000 in their pocket. All right, let's make this happen.
Yep.
Webby, we're going to Thailand.
That's fine. So The only problem I have about this idea is, yes, I know you would be all for it. Rob would be all for it. I would be completely against it, but you know at what lengths I'd go to for the listeners of SU, and I'd end up fucking doing it anyway.
But because of that, you'd be the only one that makes it out alive.
No, well, okay. First off, you're the black friend, so you're gonna die first. I'm gonna feel real bad about that.
Unless these ghosts are like, man, come on, we can't kill the black guy first. It's 2019.
Well, then Rob's gonna go first.
Probably.
Cause I'm sorry, if it comes down to me or you, Rob, I'm tripping you.
Actually, no. It'd probably be Webby first.
God damn it! Why me?
Because it's 2019 and you're the only cis white guy here. You're the only cis straight white man here. You're a target.
That's true.
Webby's like, we got to bring a whiter and straighter guy along.
Yep. Don't worry, I will find somebody else.
We got to bring a white straight guy who's marginally racist. There we go.
Yeah, I'll find somebody that the ghost can hate more than me.
There we go.
So he'll be like, "Why are we doing this?" It's like, "Shh, just let this happen."
I think we better tell the truth. Like, honestly, this place could be haunted, and the ghost may try to kill everybody.
And I'm fucking bringing somebody who also has like a walking...
who's an objectively a worse person than me. Like, we all know that you dogfight in your basement, Craig. You start saying wildly unreal shit. It's like, we all know you host dogfights in your basement, Craig. God damn it. Craig's like, what? I live in an apartment.
We'll have to bring someone that claims to be a psychic with us because they'll be the first target. And
That's
then,
true.
but sometimes the psychic turns. They can turn the psychic, so we have to keep an eye and make sure we don't need to kill the psychic.
Well, we gotta make sure that they like just recently like sprained their ankle or something and like walks with a crutch, so they're slowed down too. So, yeah. Anyway, it's not happening, folks. Okay, fuck. I don't. You know what? I'm just gonna go on record and say there's probably no haunted, abandoned mansions in our local area that me or Rob could travel to, that Devin would travel to with us. So I'm safe. We're good. All right, we're rounded out the hour mark. Rob, do you have any last minute comments?
There are several around us that me and you can get to.
About the movie.
Devin
about the movie.
Travel this far. Anyway, yes, about the movie. It was okay, as I said.
Wait, what am I doing?
Because
nothing. Absolutely goddamn nothing.
What am I doing? Come on, Rob.
No, nothing. I said, hey, you know what? I'm safe. Where it's not going to happen because we don't have any abandoned mansions in the local area that Devin can travel down to here and me and Rob can travel to easily. So we're safe. And then I moved on to Rob. Do you have any last minute comments before we close out? He's like, yeah, there's a bunch of mansions down here. I was like, Rob, shut the fuck up.
There's a haunted abandoned mental institute very close to me.
That's even worse. That's even worse.
I have a haunted abandoned mental institution that's been haunted and abandoned for years. It's Northville. We have 10 miles up the road.
We have a haunted hotel that is still actually a running hotel.
Oh, let's go.
In northern New Hampshire.
Let's go.
It was on TV and everything. I think it was the Mount Washington Hotel. But anyway, it's fucked up. Ain't never gonna happen. None of the listeners want to hear it. Rob, do you have any last minute comments as we're closing out the episode?
I have nothing.
Good. Where can people find you on the internet?
People can find me at Confessor_X on Twitter. And sometimes at ConfessorX on Twitch.
Devin, last minute comments.
Last minute comments is my moment of zen. This comes from good man Oscar Wilde.
Wrong. Life advice with Devin. We got rid of the moment of zen.
You're right. Life advice with Devin. Boom. This comes from Oscar Wilde. Life is too important to be taken seriously. Remember, guys, have fun. If you're serious all the time, you're stuck up inside the house, always working. Have some fun. Have some goddamn fun.
I say it with the most joyous fun in my voice. I'm not going to a fucking haunted mental asylum.
Webby, live a little. Who cares?
That's how I'm going to live longer.
But
People can die of fear.
But Webby, I'm gonna counter your whole statement here. Life's fucked up. Why do you want to live longer? Got him, boys.
There are other ways I want to go.
Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at DMP_Pookie and on Twitch at PookillMe. You can find me, Webby, at a haunted house coming near you soon.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
The viewers demand it.
The viewers have not demanded it yet. Viewers, if you care about me and my well-being, you won't request this. Second, that's like on my list of ways to not die, up there with like drowning and burning, and that's dying of fear.
Webby, this is the internet, so what you just told him was, hey, this is exactly what I want you to do. What I just said, do the exact opposite of that, because the internet.
We have barely anyone who writes to us as it is, and I don't know if Kurt would want me to go through with this.
Now you're testing fate, and it's Kurt. Come on. It's Kurt.
I'm putting my faith in Kurt. Okay.
I mean, that's fine. I have faith in Kurt as well. That he will say you need to go to the haunted house.
Anyway, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Jax Forestwalker, all one word. On Twitch at DMWebby, and on eBay at Not a Fucking Chance Devin. And on Instagram at Patrick.Webster52. And as always, thank you for listening. We love you. Fuck Booster Gold.
Fuck Booster Gold. But not Dan Cook this time. But fuck Booster Gold. Unless Dan Cook. My casting for a Booster Gold in a Booster Gold movie would be Dan Cook. So I could say fuck Booster Gold and Dan Cook.
Well, there you go.
Breaking the system. Boom.
I also would cast Dan Cook as Booster Gold only because I think he'd completely botch the role and the movie would tank and they'd never make a sequel.
I mean, that's been most DC movies nowadays.
Yeah. Anyway.
Outside of like 3.